Hi everybody, I just wanted to give my initial reaction very quickly. Hopefully this video won't take long, to the news of the day, which by the time you see this will be the old news, which is the indictment of one Donald J. Trump. Uh, my initial reaction is, what is going on? I don't quite get it. And even though I have limited experience with the law, I do have some experience with the law. I do kind of understand some of the bare issues. And one of the things you have to understand about this is that everything has to be based on a legal theory, which itself, this is important, which itself is just words. So what a legal theory is it's basically a way of looking at an issue using words, which is taught either in law school or which is propounded to a judge. The attorneys will argue which theory applies with a given set of facts, or a prosecutor will argue that this particular legal theory applies. And then that legal theory, sometimes it's in the form of a statute, sometimes it's not a theory, sometimes it's a plainly worded law. But the legal theory is then explained to a jury, and then the jury will be the finder of fact. That is, they'll say yay or nay. They'll say, yay, this legal theory applies, or nay, this legal theory does not apply. In this particular case, we don't really have a well-defined statute necessarily that says, if you bribe someone using your own money, it is totally illegal if you're using it to protect yourself and your presidential campaign. You see, Cohen pled guilty because what Cohen did, was it Michael Cohen? Donald Trump's lawyer in this issue pled guilty to improper use of funds because what he did, he donated to a campaign, technically. So basically the theory works like this. Let's say you're a rich person, and let's say you've got a private plane, and you donate the use of that private plane to a campaign that you like. Well, using that plane does have a monetary value. The campaign isn't necessarily paying for it because the donator, the millionaire, is donating the use of donating the use of that plane for free. Okay? But ordinarily, that would have a monetary value. Because it has something of value, because it's being given to the campaign, it constitutes a donation. And so the millionaire or the campaign would have to report that as such, would have to report the use of the plane as a donation. So if you so much as give a chair, it's considered a donation. It's considered speech, actually, as well. And therein lies the problem, you see, because Cohen used his own money to pay off Stormy Daniels. And in so doing, because he gave something of value to Donald Trump's campaign, that constitutes a political donation that went beyond the maximum, because I think it was $130,000 in hush money, which is, I guess, way more than the max he was allowed. And he didn't report it. So he pled guilty to improper use. But he told the feds that he did so under the direction of Donald Trump. Okay, so that's the main problem here. Now, what happened was Donald Trump, as far as I can determine, did not use campaign money. He reimbursed Cohen after the election, apparently from his own funds or his organization's funds, which he then listed in New York State as a legal expense. And so the crime here, if there is one, The crime isn't that, unlike Senator Edwards, if you remember that guy, he was the guy that ran for president in 2004, and then he became John Kerry's running mate. As far as I know, he did not use his own funds, even though he was worth around 200 million at the time, to bribe his mistress. He used campaign funds, and he eventually was convicted of that. I think, or he may have pled guilty. I don't know. It's old news, but definitely he was punished for that, and he was disbarred at least. In this case, Donald Trump did not use, or does not appear to have used, campaign money. It looks like he used his own organizational money, and the crime was that he misfiled it with the state of New York. Now, that is a crime. I'm not sure it's a felony. It appears to be a misdemeanor. The thing that's interesting is, under this legal theory, because he directed someone to do it in violation of campaign law, the legal theory here is that he must be guilty of the felony, or somehow this false business record rises to a felonious degree. That's what we're talking about. Now, Donald Trump is guilty of wiping his butt with the U.S. Constitution. Donald Trump is guilty of violating the authorization for military force, war crimes in Africa and in Syria. He is guilty of various things, soliciting bribes for himself, probably for his family, I would say. He's violated the Emoluments Clause of the U.S. Constitution. He's violated labor law, participated in the violation of the Immigration Code. If you remember how he put together his Trump building, Trump Plaza or Trump something, it doesn't really matter. He hired undocumented labor from Poland, wouldn't give them a place to live, and he utilized the Cosa Nostra to build it as well. And he's involved in a lot of nefarious activities over the years, none of which he can be held to account for. None. The problem is that he wrote down a bribe incorrectly in the ledger. That's what he's been indicted for, apparently. So that's what I mean. This is just insane. And a lot of liberals, I might add, are looking at this today and thinking to themselves, well, if he's convicted, this will be the end of Trump, and maybe conservatives will go back to normal. Well, I've got news for you. That's not going to happen. You see, even if you get rid of Trump, you still have DeSantis or Cruz or someone else waiting in the wings. There are plenty of creatures from the Black Lagoon just waiting and ready to come out. So, yeah, I'm underwhelmed by this, and I'm somewhat shocked at what he got away with and what they're trying to nab him on. Frankly, I'm not really sure if they can get him on this. It doesn't fully make sense to me. Maybe it makes sense to you, but it doesn't make sense to me. And, part of this is obviously the whole thing is words, right? That's what the law actually is. It's a collection of words argued in a certain way and executed by elites, interpreted by elites, accepted by elites, enforced by elites. Who knows what's going to happen? But it seems to me that this is probably one of the weakest ways to attack Donald Trump that I've seen. Does he belong on trial at The Hague? Yes, along with the other U.S. presidents. As an anarchist, I have to say that. But this is the lamest way of criticizing him, of trying to nab him for something, of trying to hold him responsible for something, while his other crimes get barely a mention. Furthermore, I have to say that there's going to be an immediate political consequence to this that nobody's really thinking about, and that is it's actually probably reduced the chances of DeSantis winning the nomination to around 10%, because this makes him look like the main liberal target. And conservatives really despise the Democratic Party, really despise liberals, especially elite liberals. So I think this is actually kind of good for him, and bad for DeSantis. Anyway, that is my initial reaction. I'd like to hear from you. As always, like and subscribe. Please comment. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you online. You can also join me on Twitter and Roger on the left. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them as best as I can. But those are my comments for today. And yeah, no bueno. People kind of think of this as much better than it really is. I think it's a mixed bag. I'll be seeing you later. Actually, I'm going to make a video in a program note. I'm going to make a video this weekend, and I'll see you then. Okay. I hope you have a great one.